is Bob the Beast Sapp, and you're listening to Ramsey on Word on the Street. I'm on the street, baby. Word.
Word.
Welcome to the Word on the Street podcast. It is June 11th, the year 2000 and chill, as always. We are here. Great show tonight. I am joined by Jake from the MMA podcast. How you doing, Jake?
What's going on, man?
And we have, of course, team son and coach, the living legend himself, Jamie Huey. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, fellas. How are we?
Pretty good, man. I'm feeling all right, man. And we have a great guest. Wow. She is an MMA fighter, undefeated. I believe it's 3-0. She is a member of the Arm Bar Nation. You know her as Marina Shafir. She's here with us live on the Word on the Street podcast. Thank you, Marina, for coming on. How are you doing? How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Where are you right now, actually?
Right now, I am in Las Vegas, filming for Tough, helping Ronda film for Tough.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I forgot to mention that she is an assistant coach on the Ultimate Fighter Season 18. She is on Team Rousey. That's right, Team Ronda Rousey. And if I'm not mistaken, I just want to get this out of the way. You're more than an assistant coach. You're actually a roommate of Ronda Rousey. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I'm also her training partner.
Training partner, roommate, coaching assistant,
Best
MMA
friend,
fighter.
BFF.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to ask you about that for sure. But yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Marina. The first question, luckily, usually I don't go to Twitter questions first, but this one came in. It was, on the show, I don't like to ask the standard MMA questions. So luckily, this person actually helped me out by asking it. It was from Caroline R on Twitter. It's just your normal first question here. How did you get into MMA since you have a judo background, and how long have you been friends with Ronda?
Well, I can easily answer the second question first. I've been friends with Ronda for close to 13 years. Mm-hmm. We've known each other for a really long time. I got into MMA. I quit judo when I was about 18, 19 years old, but I'm not the type of person that's going to quit a sport and then just sit on the couch and eat hot Cheetos all day and watch, just shit TV. But, I was just really interested in jiu-jitsu and just grappling because it was right around the corner for me where I live back home in New York. And it was, the instructor knew who I was, and he was really, really helpful with me. I actually started teaching the kids, and just one thing led to another. I got to say, I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer at the beginning of the show, but a big drive of why I started MMA was because of my dad passing away. But that was really the real reason. It allowed me to get out a lot of frustration. You basically that said something that changed, flipped a switch for you somehow. Yeah, it was a really big therapy. Every sport and martial art that I went into after judo, I always looked at it as a lifelong commitment. When I started doing Muay Thai, I wasn't just signing up for 6 months just to see how nice my hips could look after, or signing up to boxing to see how much weight I would lose. I genuinely love the martial arts, and I really, it's like an indefinite learning capacity you have to approach these things with, and that's how I did it. And then one of my teammates was like, hey, you can actually get in a cage and fight. And then at first I just shook it off, and I was like, no, I'm just doing this for fun. And then a little while after, Ronda got in there, and she's like, yeah, man, just it was really fun. You should try it. And I did, and I liked it just as much as she did. So now I believe, if I have it correct, I did as much research as I could, but all I have available to me is what's on the internet. The private investigator, you probably didn't notice him following you around in a car yesterday, but he came up with nothing. He gave me nothing. So all I know is that if I have it correct, your record is 3-0 in MMA fights. Yeah, my amateur record, yeah. I'm still Excellent. Amateur. So, I gotta ask, apparently, of course it's going good for you, but how do you think it's going so far, though, in your perspective? I'm really happy with the way my career has been going because of all the changes that have been happening in my life. Like I moved from New York to LA to pursue my fighting career, and we're just really trying to approach this the most smart and efficient way for me to get to the top, and it's a science here. There's no random fights. Like, I can't afford to do that, especially since my best friend is like the champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, excellent. Obviously, you obviously benefit a little bit. I would just through even osmosis alone, but like you probably train with the same elite people that she trains with too. Is that rubbing off on you? I mean, are you benefiting from that?
Absolutely. I mean, like wherever she goes, I go. And she knows. Like I'm not there to get anything off of her coattails. Like I'm putting in my own work. She doesn't step on the mat to help me with my training. She steps on, like, hold on a second.
Yeah, no problem. And just for any, yep. Yeah, no, go ahead and take your time. And just for any listeners,
No, because she actually just stepped into the car. So, surprise!
Oh, God. Nice.
She knows whatever is good for her is good for me, and like that's how she's my homie like that. Like she takes really good care of me, and she exposes me to as much as she can because she wants to look out for me, and she wants me to grow and be successful.
Definitely. And yeah, you step into that cage, you have won all of your fights, you're armbarring these people. Of course, no one can help you out with that when it comes down to it. Now, I did watch pretty much every single YouTube interview I could find with you. Now, it was an interesting quote from you. You said, I'm going to treat every fight like it was a UFC fight. Can you talk about that a little bit? Is that your goal to fight in the UFC? Of course, even though there is currently no 145-pound division. And on a related note, Francino from Twitter asked, Marina, when do you plan to turn pro?
Well, of course I want to look at every fight as a UFC fight. Like, I'm not going in there to be the best amateur fighter. Like, I don't want to put a cap on anything. I want to be the best at the highest level, and I don't think that's impossible at all. And I need to approach a lot of people, everybody's like, oh, who are you fighting? And I say, I don't know yet, but it doesn't matter because, like, it's nothing against the fighter. It's just that, I'm going to be the best in there whether or not, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. It just doesn't matter. And turning pro, I think, probably in the fall. If things go on course.
Yeah. The obvious question is you fight in the 145-pound division. I won't dwell on it, but just real quick, right now, if you were to throw down right now with Cyborg, do you think you could whoop her ass?
I'll fuck her up. I will fuck her up.
Hell yeah.
This is the difference between I said this a few times. I don't go in the cage and fight like somebody stole my purse. I go in there and fight like they're about to fucking murder my best friend, my baby, my cat, my puppy. Like, that's how you have to approach these fights because she's stealing my bread. That's pretty much how it is. Like, I gotta eat.
Yes.
That's just how I have to look at it, and that's how I'll always look at it. I hope she doesn't retire and have babies by the time I'm ready to face her.
Yeah, I hope I see that, man. That's the way every fighter's mentality. Oh shit, that's the way every. That's the way every fighter should be. Like, it should be a life or death when you step in the cage. That's why every time I see like a person like fight with this Greg Jackson point fighting mentality, it makes me sick. And it's not good for the fans either. The fans don't want to watch that. You should step in there as if you're locked in a cage with somebody. In this case, 2 women enter, 1 woman leaves. That's how it should always be. I applaud you for that mentality. Now I got to be honest, Marina. Here, this show, the Word on the Street podcast. I got a note from the producers. They're crawling up my ass. The ratings are in the tank, so I've got to do like little segments here to boost ratings. So hopefully you'll play along here. Here's the segment. It's new on the Word on the Street podcast. It's called Unorthodox Questions with Marina Shafir.
Bring it.
So here we go. First question, Marina, and it is unorthodox. All right. Question I've always wondered. Low blows and groin shots in women's MMA. I honestly have no idea. Is it just as bad as when a guy gets kicked in the junk? Like, do you think it should be a foul?
All right. Guys in general always discount girls getting kneed or kicked in the box.
Yeah.
And it hurts, and there's a potential of being desensitized, and that is not fun. I would like to feel complete excitement as often as I want. And if somebody takes that away from me, like, I'll be pissed. But on a side note, it does really hurt because it's an actual bone there, and it feels like somebody's breaking it, and it's happened to me, unfortunately, like half a dozen times, but I'm still very healthy. I'm just saying, a little other side note, but it does hurt, and like, you can't help but be like completely infuriated because that stupid person that did that to you is like, they don't understand like what they could have taken away from you.
Yeah. No, that is a crucial like a part of the anatomy on both sides.
It's like having it's not even about like being hit there. It's about like the potential of not being able to perform. Like, if somebody cracked your dick in half, you'd be pretty sad about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be pretty fucking pissed off.
I'll be pretty sad about that.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't fight MMA. I just keep it to street fighting and minor squabbles at the grocery store. Marina, next unorthodox question is, all right, assuming you weren't immediately mauled to death, would judo, like a judo throw and an arm bar, work on a real live bear? If you could get it into that position, like a bear, an actual animal bear, do you think you could arm bar a bear?
Oh, shit.
Like, do you think a judo throw would even work on that shit?
On a bear? I mean, if my force and I can't even come up with a creative answer for that one, but fuck yeah, I'd fuck that bear up. I'm a fucking species in this bitch. I'm gonna fuck that bear up. He is, threatening me and trying to kill me. I'm gonna do whatever I can. And like judo, in judo, like, you use the person's weight against them. So I would put the shit out of that bear. Yeah,
I mean, like, if you're camping in the woods, what I'm getting at, if a bear attacks you, and you don't have a gun, like, obviously you have to defend yourself. I was just wondering if you'd actually even attempt to use judo moves and like an arm bar and shit,
I know. I think I would go for like more of like a choke. I would try to climb up that bear's back immediately and choke him the fuck out.
Yeah, I'd try to claw out his eyes before he like ate me. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was ridiculous. I've been smoking pot. Next question. Is it true that you and Ronda Rousey engaged in some kind of satanic animal sacrifice ritual?
It was not satanic, and it was not. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yes, please do.
We were in Belgium for the Women's Belgian Open, and this was actually when we first started like recognizing each other as like friends, because we hated each other when we first met each other. So we had to stay in these like little huts, and everybody went out to eat after making weight. But her and I went grocery shopping, and we both got roasted chicken. So we're just sitting, across from each other and just eating chicken. By the time we were done talking, we realized all we had left was the bones. So somehow one thing led to another, and we decided to sacrifice the chicken bones in the forest to give us good luck for the next day. And actually it worked because she got her first international gold medal. Unfortunately,
it worked.
But It's whatever.
All right. Well, okay. The reason I was so surprised by that, it's okay if you worship the devil in my book. I don't care. It's your business. Obviously you don't. But the reason that was so surprising is because I have the feeling that, Ronda is like anti-Illuminati, New World Orders, Satanistic things. So I'm just assuming if you guys are close friends.
I'm gonna interject right there and say that she is the Illuminati. I am not the Illuminati.
Oh no! I gotta say, if you're doing animal realistic or ritualistic sacrifices, you're getting there. You're starting to join their club.
But, I know, but the chicken was already dead and it was cooked and it was in a container and all there was left was the bones.
Yeah. The Illuminati tries. The Illuminati tries to justify it as well. Yeah, you can retweet the videos claiming you're against them, but the evidence suggests otherwise. But I appreciate the explanation. Marina, next unorthodox question. I have to ask you about a quote. The quote was from you. I heard it with my own ears. It might be taken out of context, so you can explain, please. The quote is, you were talking about Miesha Tate, and you said, "I'm gonna poop in her cupcakes."
Have you guys ever heard, or have you guys ever seen the movie where the servant takes a shit in the batter of the pie that she gives to the owner of the house? I forget the name of that movie.
No.
Oh, damn it. It was just,
what movies are you people watching?
I would totally take a shit on her cupcakes. Fucking use that shit as frosting and have her eat it, and that's the goddamn thing after.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, it's the same idea as Van Wilder when, like, they jacked off into the fucking cannoli batter, or the cannoli whatever. And I would totally do that shit. I would totally do that shit.
You hear that, Miesha Tate?
You're on dog shit to put in her batter too.
That's right. Oh yeah. In the interviews, it came out that you guys do have a dog. Actually, I'm a big fan of dogs. You got to tell me what kind is it? Is it cool or is it one of these crazy?
Oh my god! It's amazing. It's like the coolest dog ever. She's so chill. She's not like overly like hyperactive, but like she pushes us to get off our lazy ass to like take her out for walks and stuff. She's an Argentinian Mastiff, and her name is Mochi, and she's 4 years old, and she's a big Mastiff dog, and she's the tits, man. She's an awesome dog.
Those dogs Mastiffs are fucking huge, right? I have the.
Yeah, she's 90 pounds. She's big.
Not bad. Does it actually, like, I had a big ass dog that was about 90 pounds. It was a Samoyed, like, Alaskan sled dog. And we were like, yeah, this dog's gonna be tough. It's gonna protect the house. It didn't give a shit if anybody walked right in. Are Mastiffs actually like guardians, or they don't give a shit? Or
yeah. No, she's really good about people. Like, she senses, like, bad people all the time, and she senses, like, bad vibes. You know, like, if she'll recognize a friendly hog, or, like, if we'll have, like, a friend come over and, like, they go over to us and they, like, start wrestling us, she'll start barking and she'll jump on them. But we live kind of in a shady neighborhood in L.A., so, like, we always have people walking by and she'll always just, like, stand up and start barking. Immediately start barking. So,
that's always a good thing. No, that's a good thing. I got to get one myself here. All right, next unorthodox question. We have two more. Marina, how many arms, if you had to guess, how many arms have you broken or dislocated, if you had to guess?
I had to guess?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't really know, because in judo, like, you have the option of being, like, I was more of a stand-up fighter. I was bigger on, like, the throws. And I always kind of avoided mat work. You know, I started getting more into mat work after I quit judo, which is actually kind of funny, like with jiu-jitsu and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know.
If you had to guess.
I guess I would say like 30.
Oh my God.
40?
Oh my God. Do you share this on first dates?
Yeah, like, cause you have like 7 fights a day, and like then you go through practice, and like I've had all these like newbie motherfuckers come into my old gym and think that they were like hot shit, and I always ended up getting an armbar on them. But
you look hurt. You went to the gym though.
No, not hurt. I mean, like some assholes who.
Yep.
I had a couple.
You talking about actual dislocation?
I think.
Broken or dislocated?
Probably under like a dozen. I've never actually like. I mean, I have actually dislocated somebody's arm, but like not.
Yeah, I'm talking like break, like
they
it's
always
broken.
tap. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. They always tap. They always know to tap.
Smart then. Yeah, definitely. Okay, last unorthodox question before I give it over to Jake from the MMA podcast. He has a few questions, and then we'll do the Twitter mailbag, and then we'll of course let you go. You're busy filming Tough Season 18, Rousey versus Tate. Last unorthodox question. You're roommates, Marina, with Ronda Rousey, so I gotta ask, honestly, no bullshit, have you ever tried on her UFC championship belt? No bullshit.
I actually haven't.
What?
I haven't ever put it on. I remember when she won the Strikeforce belt, I was there and I definitely tried it on, and it felt really nice. But I've never tried on her UFC belt.
Oh, how could you resist? That'd be like having like a Darth Vader's lightsaber in a case and like not grabbing it. That's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah, but lightsabers are absolutely way more useful. You can't like slice anybody's head off with a belt. I mean, I could probably tie it around Tate's neck and see if it doesn't move.
That would be badass. Holy shit. Okay, that was Unorthodox Questions with Marina Shafir. Jake from the MMA podcast has a couple of quick questions for you, I believe. Jake, you're on with Marina Shafir, MMA fighter.
Thank you so much for coming on, and sorry in advance about my voice. I don't know if it's allergies or I'm sick or what, but the show's got to go on. The first question I wanted to throw at you is you see a lot of wrestlers in mixed martial arts, a lot of people who specialize in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you really don't see too many judo players in MMA. Why don't you think you see an abundance of judo players when it comes to the forefront of mixed martial arts?
I think because Judo's a little bit different. Like, it's a lifelong commitment. It's, I mean, personally, I think there's a lot to prove in judo, in the judo world. A lot of the judo athletes that I know of, there's always another tournament where they need to do better, or like there's not a cap on that sport. I mean, if you're really into it, and it's, I guess there aren't enough judo athletes that are not interested in it. It's like a very intense sport. It's probably the hardest sport in the Olympics. One of the hardest sports in the Olympics. It's got to be at least top 3, because the training that goes into it is mentally and physically, like, it's no joke. And I'm not saying MMA is any easier. It's definitely hard, but I hope more judo players transition into MMA after. Like, judo takes a toll on your body,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Carl Parisian, for example. Do you think his judo was all right, or do you think he was like an amateur, or was he actually like elite? I honestly don't know, since he kind of.
I think he was an elite. I think he was an elite judo player. It's all about your style,
Yeah.
Like. With the new rules, like the new judo rules, if you look it up, like, it's now bubble wrap judo. Before it used to be, you could identify a style. Like, the Cubans had a style, the Russians had a style, the French had a style, and the Koreans and Japanese had a style. And now it's all bubble wrap. Like, everybody's kind of all in instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah. You said you hope more judo players get mixed up with mixed martial arts. Do you think that's really what's going to happen, or will we probably see a continuance of a sparse amount of judo players in mixed martial arts?
Like, are you and Ronda like rarities in the sport, or do you think that's gonna, like, more people are gonna realize the power of judo?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a rarity. It's just, I guess it all depends on the athlete and how open their mind is. You know, MMA, you can get chewed up and spit out, and they're not even doing the sport with, like, interviews and the way people look at you. In judo, like, other people's opinions don't really matter. And you have to be mentally strong in MMA, like, with criticisms and, you know, just being judged on your style. So, I don't even.
Definitely. I also wanted to ask about the coming season of Tough. I know you signed a contract. You can't give away too much, but what are the differences in this season of Tough? You know, it's co-ed. You have the first women's coaches. Have you watched Tough in the past, and how has this sort of differed from the previous Toughs?
I have watched a lot of the seasons of Tough in the past, and I'm just going to give you one word to describe this season, and that is drama. Big time. But that's all I'm going to say. So, and we're not even done, so it's going to be very, very exciting.
All right, final question with my horrible voice before I pass it back off to Ramses. A couple weeks ago, Ramses and I both had diatribes about Bryan Caraway. He made the news for both taking Pat Healy's bonus and saying he didn't feel bad for it, going on a little rant on people who've ever smoked weed, and then the Kat Zingano camp comes out saying that that Bryan actually gave Kat an elbow to the back of the head, and a bunch of people backed that up. What are your thoughts on Bryan Caraway and the whole situation currently going on with him sort of being in the hot seat?
I think that Bryan Caraway is a baby back bitch, and he is so good at playing victim card all the time, and I don't think he deserved Pat Healy's bonus. I think that should have gone to charity rather than fucking Bryan Caraway. And I don't think of him as an equal. I don't think he's a good person. He's just a little bitch. He is. He's a little fucking bitch. Tommy Towell couldn't have gotten him more right on his little show on YouTube. Let's just put it out.
The Mickey Mouse voice.
I believe back in early 2012, he said something that forever put Caraway on my shit list, saying, I believe he said he was going to knock the teeth down your training partner's throat. Something that if any man says about a woman is so cowardly, that automatically puts you on my lifetime shit list. Simple question, why does Miesha Tate keep this donkey around?
Maybe she enjoys new dentures every year. I don't know. She's a weak-minded person. I don't know why she's staying with him, and I think her only benefit from staying with him is a boob implant with his bonus. Now that he's got. Does anybody else notice how big her titties are in those pictures?
We noticed. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, we definitely did notice.
So you would be willing to step in the cage against Bryan Caraway?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I would absolutely love to.
I believe that's all I got. Thanks again, Marina. Back to you, Ramses.
Bryan Caraway, you heard it first, is a baby back bitch. And you know what, people? Here on the Word on the Street, I will endorse that and back it up 100%. He was, I believe, last week, Bryan Caraway was our Fancy Boy of the Week, one of the segments that we do on this show, and he made it with flying colors. Obviously I'm running an MMA podcast, so you're not supposed to bash any fighters, but you know what, Bryan Caraway?
Fuck Bryan Caraway.
Exactly. You're done, son. So yeah, Marina, I'm glad you
fucking crybaby. Bryan crybaby. That's what it is.
Exactly. A baby back bitch. That's a new one for me, definitely. Okay, now Marina, I'll get to the Twitter mailbag, but first, since it's out in the open, you are an assistant coach on the Ultimate Fighter Season 18. I have to say, I'm glad that we have you on the call with Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey, a boxing coach for Team Sonnen on the Ultimate Fighter Season 17. This man, if you have the time, Marina, you have to hook up with Coach Jamie Huey. You got to get in a session with him. He will teach you things you've never even considered. You'll switch levels mentally. I'm not sure how good your boxing is, but if you want to multiply that like it was some sort of Warcraft leveling up, you gotta have a little session with Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey. And
I appreciate that, Ramsey. And just so you know, the check is in the mail.
Hell yeah. You're welcome, Coach. And throwing to you, Coach Jamie Huey, I believe you do have a few questions or comments from some people that Marina Shafir might know personally in the MMA world, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. I'm gonna mix this up a little bit. So I guess to take it serious for a second, real quick, how do mutual friends? We have a couple of mutual friends, obviously, Uriah Hall and Arshay Cooper. And one thing that was interesting for me coming off this last season of season 17 was these guys coming onto the show, and they were, they had local followings, but they were nowhere near the amount of exposure, Twitter followers, and in the public as these guys are coming off the show. And obviously, and you guys will experience that, season 18, you'll see the same thing. But what I'm kind of curious about is one of the things I've always really liked about Uriah and Arshay's friendship is Arshay really looks out for Uriah. And I kind of think that you have a similar relationship, obviously, with Ronda. My question is, how do you balance the old friends and then the new friends and some of the people that are trying to get involved or are involved when you don't really know what people's intentions are?
Well, we're just really open and honest with each other at all times. Our communication, we've jumped a lot of hurdles together. I'm not going to say our friendship has been perfect over the 13 years that we've known each other. But, we've gone through a lot of serious shit. And if we made it this far, we can make it a lifetime. And we remind each other of that every day with new people that we meet, with new occasions and struggles. We always remind each other of that every day.
I think that's important. Coach Clayton Hires, who was obviously Chael's head coach, had a great saying. He always said, "Stay with the one you brought to the dance." And it's kind of interesting. I'm watching some of the guys come off the show and develop different relationships. And if I was going to give obviously anybody advice coming off of something like this, it's just, man, you remember who was there before you got there, because those are the people that are be there after the fact.
Time is important. Yeah. That's when you get to know people. Ron and I spent a lot of sauna time together, and we bonded, and we've sweat together, we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've fought, with each other. We've seen the worst of us, and we've seen the best of us. So that's always something you always hold on to, and never something you want to let go of.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I guess my next question was, I asked Uriah and Arshay both if they had any great stories or anything I should bring up on the podcast. Arshay gave me a question, and then I got a text the day after that from Uriah, and he gave me the same question. and I'm not sure if you want to answer this, and if you don't, I'll understand, because I have no idea what the answer is. How did you get the nickname Bacardi and Coke?
Uh-oh.
I will absolutely answer that. I will absolutely answer that question with a big-ass smile on my face. So when Uriah Hall came to visit us in L.A. and stay with Ronda and I, and as soon as they came off the plane and I picked them up from the airport, I was just cracking jokes on Uriah because that's how I got to know him in the first place, and I only I only knew him for a minute, but, like, that's how you kind of get to know people. You're funny with them, and you, like, test them a little bit. And fortunately for me, Arshay is like that with him 24/7. So, again, like, when it's hot out, Bacardi and cola. And I'm Bacardi because I'm white, and Arshay is the cola because he's black, and put it together all the time, and that's it. Let's party from there. I'll be around, baby. Yeah, Ronda is on lime.
Oh my God! All right, that was an honest answer.
That's awesome. That last question I got was, we had the pleasure of having Ronda down on our season, and she came in and she talked to the fighters, and she gave us some really good stuff, man. And some of the guys I know, like, she said some stuff that we never forgot. And one of those things she kind of spoke on was nobody has the right to beat you, and that was even something that I kind of always remembered her down there. But another story was it was actually first brought up on the Joe Rogan podcast about when she went to the movie theater, watched the movie Juno, and I actually had to have Ronda retell that story in the Tough locker room when she was down there. Were you present for that situation? And if you were, can you tell us?
Absolutely, I was there.
All right, you got to tell us this story one more time.
Yeah, from your perspective.
From my perspective, we were just trying to enjoy a quiet movie on a Saturday night, and I was underage, and we couldn't really go anywhere else. And bitches got a little feisty, and they were feisty with the wrong people. And, I got to tell you, when Ronda was fucking punching the shit out of the one kid, all you heard, it was like a constant slap on the ass, but it was a slap on the face, the way she was punching him. And then, like, a girl tried to jump her from behind, and I ended up tossing that one girl over, like, a couple of the chairs.
Oh,
Gave her black eye. That was the wrong thing to do.
Now the story was she put her foot up against Ronda's chair, and she kind of tapped her on the head a couple times. Ronda waited till the movie was over, took her Ugg boot off her foot, and threw it across the movie theater.
That's exactly what happened. We will never support Ugg boots from that moment.
I never supported it.
That is the awesomest story. And you know what? I gotta thank our friend who actually got you on here tonight, Amber Matthews, who hooked us all up.
Yeah.
I actually told her that story, and then she
Amber
told me
is the woman for sure. She's been hooking me up with a lot of opportunities, and I gotta thank her for this one.
She's an awesome person and great friend. So that's all I got, Ramsey. That's some good stuff.
No, that was definitely shout out to Amber Matthews. She brought up the fact that Marina, you like to cut up some T-shirts. I saw a picture of I think it was Ronda in a Tommy Toehold T-shirt. Were you the person that cut that up, or was that her? Was it a joint effort?
No, it was something back home I would do with my girlfriends in New York. Like, we would go thrifting a lot, and we would find these, like, really cool, like, double XL T-shirts that we couldn't actually wear, but there was, like, such cool logos on them. So what we would do is just cut them up and have them fit as a T-shirt. And, one day we just had time to kill, and I showed Ronda a couple of my T-shirts, and we went and got a couple fabric scissors, and she just ran with it. And she's gotten so creative, and it's something, it's relaxing, it's soothing. We just hang out and just cut up shirts.
Just tear things apart. That's what's soothing for judo players. I love it. What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, we do have the Twitter questions that came in. There were, it was actually you, Marina, by far. We had the most questions come in, so many that I have to apologize to the people because we're not going to be able to get to them all. I just have a couple here. But yeah, you broke the record definitely on the Word on the Street podcast. We've had Uriah Hall, we've had Kelvin Gastelum, Cody McKenzie, John McGuire, the Barack Obama, you name it. We've had them on the show.
And on the producing end, we've shattered the live listens record too.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice. Good. You're keeping track. Well, shit, Marina, we're going to have you on again definitely soon. Because like I said, the ratings are in the tank. The producers, they're holding a gun to my head right now while I'm talking on this microphone. All right?
Really?
We need to boost these ratings.
Because because I hope it's a BB gun or maybe a paintball gun.
No, it's a 9mm. It's all cool though.
Oh shit, you're fucked.
That that reminds me though. Actually, since we're breaking the record on listeners, I want to boost that by about 3 or at least a dozen people. And here's how you do it these days. Apparently, we're being joined by this is going out via Skype and then the internet. So we're being joined by the FBI, the CIA, NSA, you name it. So I just want to make sure that we boost our listenership, get them to listen in. Maybe we'll get some new fans. I just want to use some keywords here. I already said Barack Obama. I think exactly.
Terrorism, Al-Qaeda, anthrax.
Exactly. Marina Shafir, you are the bomb. You guys are terrorizing the MMA community. So yeah, we just gained 3 listeners at least. I know for a fact just now. That's how it's done these days, people. It is pretty. Actually, I'll get your take on that, Marina. Are you disgusted by the fact that the government now openly admits that we always knew they were, but this whole PRISM thing? I don't know if you follow the news or not. They're spying on everything. It's all over, even your emails, IMs, it's your tweets. It's all over. The government has their hands all over it. Do you have any take on that?
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't watch the news, but I'm not surprised that they're fucking little bitches and have to keep an eye on them.
You hear that, you FBI guy, tough guy?
I know I may not be as educated with what the government is doing to us, but, like, I always knew that, like, every sexual text that I ever my ex-boyfriend and my boyfriend, you know, like, they're just on it. They're like, oh, yeah, what's she going to do next? You know, like, they're fucking assholes like that. So I can't even have, like, a nice, calming conversation, let alone a dirty one on my phone.
Yep, they're up in everybody's shit. Oh, one more thing. While we're on this subject, and this is just random, I'm not gonna lie, while Coach Jamie Huey was asking you some questions, I was smoking a joint. I have to ask you, where were you on 9/11, and what's your take? Do you think it was a conspiracy by the government?
On 9/11, I was in 8th grade, and I was in my social studies class. And I do think it's a conspiracy. I thought it was a conspiracy the next day. Like, first I was just, like, shocked. But, you know, I come from a family that's, like, really educated. And, you know, my dad was in the Secret Service, like, in Europe because I'm not from this country. And that's what he said immediately.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, where's your family from?
I was born in Soroka, Moldova. Moldova's like a little tiny country in between Romania and Ukraine. It's like the gallbladder.
Yeah, I was about to like fake like I knew what you were talking about, but thank you for the explanation.
Yeah, no, it's former Soviet Union. Like, I was born in 1988, and that was when it became its own country. So.
Thank you so much for boosting our listenership by another 60 people at least with that information. The FBI is definitely listening now.
There it is. Yes. I'm rushing by, everybody.
Nice. Okay, no, sorry about that. Okay, well, we will wrap it up. I just have sorry, there's like 2 more Twitter questions here. Next one of them is from Gary Pennington. He wants to know, have you finally accepted the nickname The Fear Shafir?
No.
Yeah. And he said, P.S. Don't say the Jew Doka.
They make fun of me every day at practice because, like, I'll walk in and my boxing coach, Edmund, will just be like, the Jew Doka. And I, like, you know, I can play on my nose on, like, the fact that I have a Jew nose and I am Jewish, but, like, I don't know if I really want to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I really like the fear. I kind of just like my name. So I guess, like, I'm still contemplating what I want it to be. I know it's going to be one of those. George Little Pie! Like, my brother back home suggested my name should be Marina, the Russian Standard Shafir, because that's, like, the #1 vodka in the world, and it only sounds right because I am Russian. And I used to drink a lot of vodka, bartending and stuff, but I don't know if that's appropriate anymore.
You need that vodka every now and then. As I actually hold a glass of it. Weird. No, I like the Marina the Shafir. Yeah, the judoka probably wouldn't fly in the UFC, I'm guessing. But I actually like that one too, I gotta admit. The last question, I believe. Oh, well, yeah, the last question from Twitter. And thank you for your time. Sorry it took so long. I'm training podcasting.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm training podcasting. I'm like the worst habit I have is letting the interview go too long and keeping people. I know you're busy. You're filming The Ultimate Fighter, for Christ's sake. But yeah, last question from Twitter. It is from Shannon Kowalski. She wants to know how many times has Dr. Anne Maria, who I believe is Mrs. Rousey, how many times has Dr. Anne Maria poked you with a stick?
Not enough. That's for sure. What? Poke me with a stick.
I have no idea what that means.
A spoon? She likes wooden spoons. Well, apparently she likes wooden spoons, but obviously not enough. So that's my answer to that one. Marina always behaves herself when she comes over. That's why she's never taking a spoon.
No, good to know. All right. Well, just a wrap up question. What the hell are you girls gonna get up to right after this?
I think we might be getting a bite to eat.
What?
I don't know. Oh man, I ate so much yesterday. I just wanted to have like tuna jerky and yogurt. You want some? No, you're fine. I'll get like vegetables. I can probably gonna have vegetables and hummus and tuna jerky and beef jerky. Oh my god! And whatever else is left in our fridge.
They make tuna jerky? Tuna jerky? That's real?
Yeah, it's really good.
The fuck?
So good. Oh my gosh.
There's a great sandwich place right around the corner from the Tough Gym. If you take a left, what is that street? God, there's a sandwich shop up there we must have ate at every single day.
We don't eat gluten.
What is it?
No gluten.
We don't eat
gluten. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that would work then.
All right, last question for Marina before we let her go. Marina, how many, you already mentioned one squabble in a movie theater. Just roundabout, how many street fights have you been in your life?
None. My father put the fear in me. He told me if I ever he put the fear in me. He put the fear in me. Like my dad never he didn't punish me. He played the mental game with me very well. My mom was the one who beat me up, but I'm just kidding. But he told me that I would be more punished if I came home and I would get if I ever got in trouble for getting into a fight. I would get into more trouble at home because he never wanted me to put my hands on anybody for any reason.
Yep. I hear you. Because honestly, in a street fight situation, you never know when the motherfucker has a weapon.
Exactly.
Except in the case, you guys, when you guys get back to wherever you're going and chill out, the latest YouTube video, you have to see this shit. This is one situation where I would have taken this guy out flat. Yeah, Jake showed it to me. It's this dude in the New York subway San Francisco subway.
San Francisco, the BART.
Have you guys seen this today yet? It's this dude in the San Francisco subway. He just shows up. He looks like basically, well, he's a black guy with a huge ass afro.
He looks like a skinny Reggie Watts.
Yeah, something like that. He shows up in a subway naked. He starts doing kung fu moves, starts doing flips in the air, starts rolling over toll booths, fights, tries to rape a woman. And the whole time, it's San Francisco, so people are cowering and stuff. You gotta watch it.
Bunch
just look
of fancy boys over there.
Just look up, just punch in Subway, fucking naked guy, and you'll see it. And,
Subway Afro, maybe?
Subway something.
I'll tweet it at you and Ronda.
Yeah, basically though, this guy, you can tell he's trained, like he's cut, his body's in shape. This guy moves his body like an athlete. He's doing kung fu moves and shit, so you know he's trained, but he's just obviously on some sort of fucking drugs. The cops take him down. It's the funniest shit ever. But yeah, I have no idea why I even brought that up. Sorry about that. Just check it out when you get there. And Marina, yeah, where can people find you on Twitter? And how can people contact you? Anything you want to shout out? What's up?
I would just like to give a big shout out to my BFF, Ronda Rousey. For the reason I'm here is because of her, and I want to give a big shout out to her. And you can find me on Twitter at Marina Shafir, MarinasHafir, and you can contact me through there.
Awesome.
And I'm not giving out my phone number.
I hear you. You're damn right, people. You got to jump through hoops to get that shit. And yeah, thank you very much. Hell yeah. Thank you very much, Marina, for coming on the Word in the Street podcast. You definitely have to come back on now that we've broken the ratings here for live listeners, and tweets and questions. I gotta have you back on. I'm gonna find some way to just trick you into it if I have to, but thank you so much.
You don't trick me into anything. I'll do it gladly.
Awesome. Yeah, we like to keep it real here, and hopefully you had a good time. Sorry that the interview took so long. I'm working on it. I will trim it down.
No. I had a blast. I had a great time. If they tell you to shorten up these podcasts, they're doing something wrong.
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm always fighting, man. I'm always fighting with it. But no, awesome. Marina, you have yourself a good night, and we'll definitely follow up on The Ultimate Fighter Season 18, Rousey versus Tate. And, yep, just definitely shout out to you and your roommate. Take care of that damn dog, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Have a good night. Bye.
And there she goes. That was Marina Shafir, assistant coach to Mrs. Ronda Rousey. Well, Miss Ronda Rousey on The Ultimate Fighter Season 18. Coach Jamie Huey, hopefully you're still there.
Absolutely. I'm here, brother.
Yeah, man. They sound like they're having fun. They're like where you were basically a couple months ago. What do you think? What's your insight, man? What do you think are they having a blast, or is tough filming really a pain in the ass? Like they're just happy they're going home finally, they're resting. How much of a I'm not exactly
sure where they're at in the season. I really don't know, so I'm not keeping anything.
It's got to be within the first 2 weeks right now.
So yeah, at this point it's it kind of gets a little, you start off, you got your team of fighters, and you're getting everybody ready, and everybody's coming to practice, and everybody's excited. Then at some point, it'll start to change a little bit. You're doing 2-a-days. We flip a coin. Whoever gets the first practice from 10 to 12 or from 12 to 2, then the next, then you do. Then the next team work from 4 to 6, and then the next team comes in from 6 to 8. So you kind of get to choose once you lock in your time. That's basically your algorithm for the season. And about now, I'm assuming they've had a couple people fight, a couple people have won, maybe a couple people have lost. I have no idea where anything is. I have no inside information on this. But what kind of happens to change in the team dynamic a little bit is you've got guys that haven't fought, that are they got their nerves up or they're ready. You've got maybe a couple fighters that have fought and they've lost, so they're out. And then you have a fighter that's getting ready to fight or is fighting any day, and then you have a fighter that you're kind of potentially gonna pick to fight the next fight. So it really starts, the dynamic changes from everybody's fighting, everybody's ready, and then it starts to change a little bit. And then as it gets into the season a little bit, some of the fighters, there are some of them, maybe they're discouraged and they're not really training. Some of them that are out are still training. So you're trying to keep them busy, but then you're trying to get another guy to weight class and work a game plan. And then there's a couple other guys that they don't know when they're fighting. So it really becomes kind of a tricky situation. It is hard work, man. I mean, people don't realize how much work it is actually coaching on that show. with all those different personalities and being away from home and stuff the fighters go through. So I definitely, 2 weeks in, absolutely was excited. It was an experience of a lifetime. I would do it again in a second. And shout out to my boy Ricky Lindell, who was actually on coaching on Team Tate. This is his second season in a row that he's down there. So we're proud of him for that. But it is a lot of work, man. I mean, there's definitely some payoff. It's a lot of fun. I miss the cameraman Nick and my buddy Rambo down there, the PAs, and everybody else that was a part of the crew. But it definitely 2 months into it, man. It's definitely a grind.
Yeah. Oh, would you be down to Marina, man? She's coming up. She's undefeated. I believe all of her victories were via armbar. She's got a good connect and all that. Coach Jamie Huey, would you be? I mean, you are willing to show her a thing or two, right? As far as the boxing angle goes, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love working with loyal, creative people like that, and I don't know Marina super well, but obviously I've met her a few times, and we have several mutual friends. And the times that I have been around her and Ronda, I've been very impressed with the how real they are and genuine as people. There's nothing. Every single time I've ever met Ronda, and maybe it's only been a half dozen times, she's the exact same person every single time. And same with Maria. And then, all my friends that are friends with them, it's, I think that it's great to watch people like, Kelvin or Uriah or guys on the team, Jimmy and Zach and all these guys. It's like, they're just built the way they are, and they're never going to change. And then there's other fighters that I haven't worked with that do change. And those are the ones I don't really particularly get too motivated to work with, although I have worked with some in the past. But, Marina's great. Everybody I know that I'm close to, vouches for her, and I've always had a good experience, hanging out with her a few times. So.
Yeah, now, Coach, go ahead, Jake.
I was going to ask Ramses real quick. I think we're done with the interview, so we are opening up the phone lines. Can we give listeners a number to call in?
Oh, shit. You're putting me on the spot a little bit here, Jake. Let me dig up that number, and I will announce it. I will come up with it in a second. But actually, we're actually to the limit right now, to tell you the truth, because they're the regulars. They have remained silent, but we do have Ross, Alan, and the Ninja on the line with us, so we're probably to the limit of callers. But we will open it up again in a little bit. I just had one more quick question for Coach Huey. Coach, of course, we had our second female MMA fighting guest on the Word on the Street podcast tonight, Marina Shafir. The first one being Liz McCarthy, who you're obviously one of her coaches, and I believe you're transitioning to a management role. I just wanted to ask, it just occurred to me, if you were to spar with not spar, of course, but a boxing session, coaching session with a female, do you go a little bit lighter than you would with a male? Honestly, no bullshit.
No, I mean, it really kind of depends on, when I do mitt work, I do mitt work. I don't always do the same mitt work, and I do different mitt work for different reasons. Sometimes I'm working on technique. Sometimes I'm working on leverage, speed, power. Mostly I like to really focus on timing. That's kind of my emphasis for a lot of the fighters that I work with is not so much speed, but timing. And, with females, I don't do anything different than I do with males. I mean, I get Liz McCarthy on the punch mitts, and she doesn't get tired. I've kind of, I work with some heavyweights that obviously have, a bigger build who will slow down a little bit sooner than a 155 pound fighter. But I get somebody like Liz McCarthy on the mitts, and she's 105 pounds, man. She just doesn't know what tired is. And I've gauged it. She's fighting 5-minute rounds, and, I'll be somewhere in the training camp with her, and I just kind of want to test her cardio. And I know where she's at as far as running the hills. We do steps and we do a lot of work, but I'll test her on the mitts, and I'll go a long time in a round of punch mitts, and when I say stop, she's not even breathing heavy. So when it comes to females, I don't do anything different than I do with the males.
Nice. Yeah, I would, man, I would pull back. I would pull every punch. I'd be like, oh, you got me. And, I wouldn't be able to do it. So hats off to you, man. All right, let's hear from some of the people that called in. One of the first was the undefeated champion on the Word on the Street podcast trivia games. These people claimed he was cheating. So we even switched up the game itself just to prove that he was legit. He is Ross Finkelstein, the best Jew in the business. Ross, you just heard that interview with Marina Shafir, dude. Actually, I don't know. Did you hear it, or are you just calling in?
Oh, I heard it. I listened to the whole thing.
Nice. Anything interesting? I just want to know, like, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but, what's your take, dude?
Marina is now my favorite female MMA fighter, maybe now my favorite fighter. I finally found a fellow Jew in this business who I can relate to, not like Ariel Hawaii. And she is hilarious, and she's going to kick ass.
A fellow Jew in the biz.
And Ross, you're coming through a little low. If you could turn up your...
that's way better. That's way better.
Way better.
One more time for the people listening. Can you just sum it up real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, I think she's awesome. I finally have a fellow Jew in the MMA business that I can relate to, not like Ariel Hawaii.
Hey, Ross, I noticed, of course, Ross is training in Photoshop. He's actually a Photoshop master in his own right. I noticed Chael Sonnen switched up his background on his Twitter, dude. Is that your artwork? Can you confirm that?
Yes, it is, indeed.
Good on you, man. Props. We also have Alan from, I believe, I don't know, Louisiana, maybe. Let's just. I don't want to blow up his spot here, but Alan, dude, you're on the line. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can hear you perfectly, man. You're doing good. Did you happen to tune into the Marina Shafir interview? Any thoughts on that?
Yep. Listened to it. Wouldn't have missed it. It was awesome. I'm really excited for the season now. Just getting to a little, sneak peek at some of the other coaches that are going to be involved in the show. Maybe see how her persona, comes out on the TV show. Just like getting to see Coach Jamie and Coach Clayton and Coach Scott, and Vinny on season 17. So, yeah, I'm
Mike Dolce.
Mike Dolce, yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. And I was going to go on the Dolce diet. I was ready to start it, but I got to be honest. Then I stopped for some Burger King. So,
hey, I'm already on it, and I tweet Mike my pictures of like some of my recipes every once in a while.
You were in shape to begin with, man.
I'm getting back into shape.
Oh yeah, you had that injury.
Cheating.
That is the Ninja chiming in. Ninja, how you doing, man? Welcome to the Word on the Street podcast. Good to see you around. Did you listen to that interview with Marina?
I did not. I do not have the Ustream capabilities, so I will look forward to listening to that because it sounds like it was a good one.
It was, man. She was crazy honest. It was a damn good one. I wish everybody I interviewed was like that. The one thing that my worst nightmare, besides shit not working, is having a cookie cutter interview. I never want to do those, never, and that was definitely not one of them. I'm pumped about that. And we also have a caller on the line. I think I know who he is, but I just want to confirm. Caller, you know I'm talking to you. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Wu-Tang 1990. And yeah, dude, that was a fucking great interview.
Awesome, Wu-Tang. Good to have you on. Now, I just wanted to ask Coach something real quick. Just more the Ultimate Fighter stuff. Like, if you could go back to yourself, like day one of the Ultimate Fighter season 17 filming, is there anything you'd change? Any advice you'd give yourself besides picking all the winners to be on Team Sonnen?
What would I change? I don't think I would change anything. I mean, in regards to the guys that we picked, I mean, so much of the success that we had on the show was the support of the guys that we had on the team. I mean, there were guys like Gilbert and and Clint and Adam and I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out that were really great guys that we would have loved to have on our team. But I wouldn't have changed the way it was because there were certain guys that were so pivotal in the success that we had. Jimmy was like really kind of like a guy that really took care of people. Tor cooked for everybody on the team. You know, I mean, so much of the success that Uriah and Kelvin had, I think, had a lot to do with the support system. So as far as in relation to that part, I wouldn't have changed anything. I mean, knowing what I know now, I probably would have been a little bit more prepared for what that initial day was, because literally, you know, 32 guys walk in the room, and you don't know who's going to walk in, and you kind of meet them that day. You go home that night, you start to kind of do your investigating as much as you can on Twitter, on YouTube, and figure out who some of these guys are. And the next day you go in there and you pick teams, and you don't know who's going to get picked first. You're really kind of going off what you could see on YouTube and then what the fights look like. But, you know, certain guys, I mean, you look at a guy like Kelvin Gastelum, who ended up winning the whole thing. He drew Keto Andrews, who I believe probably could have got all the way to the end had he not drew the toughest guy to fight in the tournament. So, I mean, there's a lot of those variables. Had a couple little things been different, it probably would have offset everything. So it's kind of like the Back to the Future movies, you know what I mean? Like one thing screws up everything. So knowing what I know now, I would have been more prepared, but I definitely wouldn't have changed anything in those experiences.
Back to the Future, man. I just a little side note here on the Word in the Street podcast. I am coming up with, you know, I train Thug Jitsu. I have an honorary black belt. I am coming up with new moves all the time. I invented a couple punches this week. One of them was modeled after the George McFly parking lot uppercut in Back to the Future. Thanks for bringing that up, Coach. And then
you know, that's what I'm here for.
And then I'm working on the drunken uncle punch, and I'll put out a video of that when I'm ready, man. You guys are gonna be blown away. Wu-Tang, you DM'd me while the interview was going on, and you had a question for Marina, which was you said ask her what she thinks about what War Machine said. Now I did. Like, the thing was, I wanted to, but I couldn't, you know, at that time I was jumping around. I got two computers in front of me. I'm talking to somebody. Like, I couldn't remember what his exact quote was, though. But I know he was, like, dissing Ronda, wasn't he? What was the deal?
He was kind of dissing every woman fighter in the UFC, pretty much. He said, like, I'm, like, paraphrasing, but he said there's no good women fighters in the UFC. They're all
it was about
Invictus.
Tough, wasn't it?
Yeah. He said that they paid Kat Zingano to not show up because she's not as pretty as Miesha Tate, and they wanted more ratings. Kind of like a conspiracy, the whole thing, but he was pretty much dissing everybody.
And you know what? That does remind me, during the interview, Marina Shafir did talk about shitting in Miesha Tate's cupcake.
Cupcakes, yeah, I heard.
And jerking off on it if she were a guy. I thought that was interesting.
Dude, she's fucking awesome. That was probably the best podcast you had.
I hope so, man. That was, she definitely was honest. That's what I hope people are always. What's up, Jake?
We've peaked, Ramses.
Nice. I'm glad, man. Yeah, definitely. Marina Shafir was a great guest. She also
Ronda in the background was awesome too. You could hear her like laughing and shit.
Oh, how crazy was that, man? How crazy is it that like Ronda's? Yeah, and it's good to know that Ronda isn't like stressing and having like.
She retweeted Jake, so he's probably gonna get a shitload of views from that.
Oh, that's badass. Yeah, Ronda was totally cool. Coach Jamie Huey, like obviously Ronda's having fun filming Tough 18. What do you think? Do you think Chael was also having a good time, or was it like another gig to him? Like, did you get?
No.
Yeah, like, did you get to break it down with him?
Oh yeah, we've had 1,000. Part of our routine every night was, you know, we got up in the morning, we had breakfast, had coffee, jumped in the truck, drove to the gym, did a 2-hour practice. After that, we'd go grab something to eat real quick, go back to the gym for the second practice. And then after that, we'd head back, have dinner, and part of the process, we'd all go down to the hot tub. We sit down there and we talk for an hour and a half about the guys on the show, who's fighting who, what happened in this fight, what happened in that fight, what we need to do, and we just kind of brainstormed. And I've heard Chael, he said it several times that was his best experience to date when it came to the MMA stuff. And for me it was really an honor to be a part of that. So I absolutely know he enjoyed it as much as we all did. We had a great team. I mean, it couldn't have fit better. Mike Doce was, I can never say enough good stuff about that guy. Vinny was always there. He was always, ready to help with anything he could help with. Scott had his corner. He was doing his thing. Clayton was a wealth of knowledge, and just really took Uriah and a couple guys under his wing, and obviously I enjoyed myself and did everything I could, and me and Kelvin kind of had our thing, and it was just it was just kind of an experience where we all got together, and if there was a hole, one of us knew that we needed to fill it. So if somebody saw a deficit, somebody was jumping in it. So we just worked together so great that there's no way that we could have done anything other than have such a great time during that experience.
You're damn right. You heard it from the man himself. If Team Sonnen sees a hole, they're going to fill it, people. You can quote him on that. Now, that is transitioning into a little man talk here, all right? Now, Marina Shafir, one of the questions I did ask her, I asked her if low blows, groin shots in women's MMA, if she honestly thought that can hurt and be as, like, I asked her if it was as bad as it when a guy gets kicked in the fucking balls or nuts or the junk, what have you. She said it was just as bad. But look, we got 6 guys on the call right now. We're all gentlemen.
She doesn't
here.
have any nuts.
Yeah, we're all. That's what I'm getting at. We're all gentlemen on this podcast. So I'm gonna ask you, man to man, be real. Do you think getting kicked right between the legs for a woman is the same as when it happens to you, a man, Jake?
Fuck no.
Coach Jamie, what do you think? Have you ever been kicked in the junk?
I don't know, Jake. Why don't you tell us what you really think? That's a hard comparison. I mean, asking her the same question is, I've never got hit in the box, thank God. You know what I mean? Like, never been hit in the nuts either. So it's like, it's kind of questions we could speculate, but yeah, there's no scientific data to that either one of us can prove, because we've never experienced it, thank God. But man, tell you what, I got in a fight in 4th grade and I got kicked right there hard, and I still remember that feeling I had in my stomach, man, and it wasn't right at all.
Yep, it's that, like, your legs don't work and you think you're gonna puke. It's that feeling. And the pain is just concentrated right there, and it shoots right up your spine into your
stomach
brain.
Gets knocked up into your throat.
You know what? You guys are giving me flashbacks.
Okay, well, we gotta go around the table here, get a consensus. Ross, have you ever been kicked in the junk? Do you think it hurts as much for a girl?
No, I'm sorry. It'll hurt, but it won't hurt. It won't hurt as much for a girl. It's just so bad for a guy.
Yep. Alan, you're a cop. I'm sure you've been kicked in the balls numerous times. Do you think a woman feels the same pain?
There's no way. And if I post that video of me kicking my brother in the nuts again, you gotta retweet it.
You did a spinning kick into your brother's balls, man.
Hey, he kicked my leg down, so it was his fault.
Wait, are you telling me you Uriah hauled your brother's balls? Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly.
Oh hell yeah! You need to. I'll tag you in the video, Coach, and let you see it. I did a Vine video.
Man.
It was exactly like the Uriah Hall kick. It was like one of those close kicks, but so close that the full force lands immediately. Like,
and I did get my head all the way around before the leg too. So.
Oh my God!
And it's a real quick video. You just see his brother just fly out of the fucking frame. It's ridiculous. And it's like, man, you guys were sparring with like protective gear on. It's like, you guys are going 100% in sparring, Alan. You should not do that.
No, that's like 70.
Yeah, you guys see this. I'll retweet the video. You guys be the judge. That was 100% nut shot.
I'm about to retweet it.
So, Alan, you yourself, though, you ever gotten it in return at least? You know what it's like?
Yep. And grappling at work and football, and I've been hit with a baseball in the nuts.
A baseball? Jesus.
Yeah, play second base or third base in high school, and
went up the glove?
Didn't have time to put the glove down.
Oh, that stinks, man. I bet everybody had a good laugh, though, if you could get some solace in that.
Yeah.
Ninja, you also have some experience in law enforcement and just dealing with people. You've been kicked in the nuts. Do you think it hurts as much as like say Marina getting kicked in the box?
Well, we're all men here. We're all grown adults. Think about everything you've done to a woman's vagina, and they're just made to take a pounding, really. So there's no comparison.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
The ninja fires back. All right,
there's just no comparison.
Wu-Tang, you man. Actually, maybe we didn't start off with you. Getting hit in the junk, in the balls, man, has it ever happened to you? And do you think women can ever even understand what it's like?
I mean, yeah, I had it happen to me a lot of times. That shit hurts. And
why?
Just like sparring, shit like that. I don't know, but they have like a natural protect. Like it's harder to hit because they have like their thighs and shit protecting it. And do they wear do they wear cups or anything? Like, do they have a female cup?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
They do. Anybody? Yeah, I actually have a funny story about that. I took one of my fighters to the National Silver Gloves several years ago, and I did it we got to the finals. We're in the finals, and we're fighting this tough little dude that just loved to go to the body and then come back up. So the night before the fight, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should go get Ephraim a different cup because this guy really likes to dig hard to the body. So I went down to the ringside store the next day that they had down there in the lobby of the hotel, and I saw a growing protector, and this thing went like a pro boxing, like the pros wear. It sat up a lot higher, and it really kind of protected the liver, kidney, whatnot. So I bought this thing. It was on sale for like $15. I'm thinking, damn, these things are $60. I'm in a hell of a deal here. So I take this thing and I go over to Ephraim. I say, I want you to wear this today in the finals. It'll protect your body a little bit. He goes, okay, coach. He goes back, puts this thing on, comes back 10 minutes later, walking with it in his hand. And I said, Ephraim, I go, what's the problem? You didn't like the cup? He goes, no, coach. He goes, every time I sit down on this thing, it squishes my balls. Like, wow, shit. All right, sorry, We'll just go ahead and use the one you've been using. All right, coach, no problem. He uses it. That night we're sitting in the hotel, and I had another kid that I had took over there as well, Junior Zarita. He picks up the cup, and he looks at it, and he goes, Coach, I think this is a girl's cup. And you could see that this freaking thing dived right in. There was no room for anything. So poor Ephraim, every time he sat down, this thing would just squeeze the shit out of him. So, yeah, they definitely make female cups. We learned it the hard way. Thanks.
No, I can't even. I don't even know if I've. And I'm not gonna lie. I'd look. I've never noticed a female cup. This thing must be like. This must be the largest stealth technology that we've never heard of. Huh. Now, Coach. Yes. I've got to get an update on Operation Lightning. Basically, for anybody listening, Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey, one of Chael Sonnen's coaches here on Team Sonnen. You saw him in the season 17 of The Ultimate Fighter. He is managing and coaching an MMA fighter who's fought in Strike Force, and actually, I believe had a professional boxing match did actually go down? We're talking about Liz Lightning McCarthy. Liz Lightning McCarthy is one of the coach's proteges, if you will. Coach, we do want to get her back in Invicta. We had a little campaign here. Can you talk about that and give us a little update?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we just launched Lightning Liz McCarthy's Facebook fan page. We're building that up. She's on Twitter. The Lightning _Liz McCarthy, I think. Shoot, I better double check that. But yeah, you know, the campaign, we're trying to get her on the next show, so we're doing a lot of social media. I took on the management role for Liz, so if there's anybody out there that wants to do any sponsorships or booking, please get a hold of me. Yeah, we're definitely trying to get her on the next show. I've had a conversation with Shannon Knapp and Janet Martin over there Invicta, and it looks like the September card. Although there's no opponent yet, we're still waiting to hear on that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys all retweeting stuff and following her and liking her Facebook page. You know, we're just trying to continue to move forward with her career. You know, I've said it before, we really got a bum decision again in that her last Invicta fight. So as far as I'm concerned, she's undefeated. She's never lost an amateur fight. She's never lost an amateur boxing or professional boxing match. And as far as I'm concerned, she's 2-0 as a pro. Her record won't reflect that. We lost a split decision, but anybody that saw the fight knows that we won the first and third round. However, we will just make sure that we don't leave it to the judges next time.
And I can attest to that, people. I saw the fight go down. I heard even the commentary, and I love Boss Rudin. The commentary on that Invicta fight with Liz Lightning McCarthy versus Jody Escobar. It was slanted. The decision was slanted. She won that fight. She threatened with submissions. She had Jody in trouble. Jody was just flaring with some phantom punches that just looked cool. She was a Greg Jackson fighter, obviously. You know, I'm number one on MMA conspiracy theories here in case you haven't been listening. I'm the first one to call out when shit's rigged. For instance, well, let's get to it, people. The topic I want to ask you about, and by all means, anybody's free to drop off the call at any point. Sorry, Coach, this podcast is going really long here. So,
it's all good.
Okay, great. But yeah, just anybody's free to hang up on my ass because, like, the Word on the Street podcast, we don't screen your calls at any point. We take all calls as long as, it doesn't get too outrageous. I think we're at our limit right now. But we don't screen your calls. Anything goes. So I'm just going to ask you people, and you're free to go whenever because I will never hang up on somebody unless your connection does something funny and there's weird-ass like noise or you try to order Chinese food while you're on the call.
Like that clown Team Jones fan. Hey, I just called you, but everybody hold on because I got to make a Chinese food order.
Yep. I take his call, and he's like, hold on, I got to order some food. And he honestly thinks I'm going to keep him on the line while he's talking to somebody ordering. All right, he was a Team Jones fan, and it was not staged. All right? That's all I have to say about the Team Jones fans. All right, I just want to ask you people, this latest, we all saw it on Saturday, this miracle UFC Brazil card. The Brazilians, I believe they went undefeated or something. And, there was an amazing record-breaking amount of submissions. I won't even comment. You guys already know what I think. Jake from the MMA podcast, do you smell some bullshit here, or do you think that was legit?
I think it was legit. I think the matchups were all very favorable to the hometown fighters. I think the UFC just picked out a bunch of people who weren't that good at defending submissions and put in a lot of hometown guys who were really good at cinching it in, and they got the result that they were hoping for.
Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey, did you watch Saturday's fights?
Man, I didn't, man. I got to be honest.
Good answer.
I had so much going on right now. I didn't watch it. No.
Good answer. They were very exciting fights. I have to say that. It's just the outcome when you just look at it in toto was a little preposterous. Ross Finkelstein, the best Jew in the MMA business, the champion of the word on the street, what did you think about the Brazil card? Were you impressed? Did you think it was bullshit? I mean, we had a record number of submissions for a UFC event, and of course, every Brazilian won.
It was entertaining. I mean, I loved the card. It was entertaining, but I don't know. You tell me. Every Brazilian wins. Tons of submissions. Just not going to say anything.
Alan from Louisiana, what do you think, man? You have to have good judgment. What's happened? What'd you think? Are you just happy just watching fights? What's the deal?
Well, first off, my first bone to pick would be with the Rodrigo Dam and Mizuto Hirota fight. It was a close fight, but I'm sorry that one suplex at the end of the fight in the third round did not give the fight to Rodrigo Dam. He did not win that fight. He got the decision. It was a screw job.
I don't know. I actually think I do have to step in. Normally, I am the conspiracy theorist, but I think honestly, the suplex, he stole the fight, like in the judge's eyes.
I think he was winning even before the suplex.
But with the suplex, Hirota got right back up. That's my whole point. It didn't do any damage, and he didn't keep control.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the crowd made a little noise, and
but they're Brazilian. You know, they get happy when they see mud. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't blame him.
Dude, he wasn't landing nothing but that jab the whole fight.
Nah, if you look at it, Hirota was doing more damage. Rodrigo Dam didn't land as many shots. Hirota also was controlling the fight, marching him down, and was more accurate too.
Without the suplex, he probably would have lost the judge's decision, in my opinion. Though.
He probably still would have got the decision. But either way, it's Brazil. But I don't know. I think what you said about most of the fights being weighed in the Brazilians' corner. Most of the Brazilian fighters were overmatched for the other fighters. I think that's what I would go more with. I don't really think it was a conspiracy. I just think that the Brazilian fighters were better than the other fighters.
Ninja, did you watch the Brazil card this Saturday? Did you suspect any bullshit? What's up? What's the word on the street from the Ninja?
First of all, shout out to my boy, Honey Jason. I love that fighter, and I'm so happy for that awesome submission that he got. And my boy, Thiago Silva. Hopefully he pisses clean and not green this time and actually gets that win.
No chance.
Yeah. Maybe pregnant. Who knows?
He tested positive. Is he the dude that did the horse piss thing?
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, he turned in horse piss. All right, Thiago. Well, God bless.
But as far as it being a work, I agree with everybody else on here. I don't think it's been like, hey, whisper, I'm gonna tap you out right now. It's just way stacked. People that know submissions up and down versus people that might not know them very well. And it was just bound to happen.
Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it and having a smoke here, how fucked up is it that you have to walk out of the cage after a victory and the first thing you're going to ask for is, hand me that bag of horse piss. Holy shit. Oh, actually, Coach, after a UFC fight, like, really, how does that post-fight piss test actually work? Do you know? Like, is it immediate? Is anybody watching and staring at your junk? Like, how does it really work, if you can tell us?
Well, every commission is different depending on what city you're in. I've seen some commissions more strict than others, but basically they follow the fighter from the octagon back to the bathroom, and they're basically glued to that person until they administrate the urine test. Depending on how strict the commissioner and or commission wants to be, it varies from state to state. There's variables.
The coach, Jamie, the living legend Huey, should run for politics sometime. Wu-Tang. The Brazil card, do you think a conspiracy was up, man? Do you think the fights were rigged, or do you think it was just a coincidence that all the Brazilians won with a record amount of submissions?
No, I agree with everyone else. I think Joe Silva set it up so that the Brazilians would win. But I think, dude, it was like 8 submissions, so that is pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of what when me and Jake interviewed Mike Straka, a journalist, but he does report on MMA. We interviewed him on the MMA podcast. That's what he was saying. He doesn't think that the UFC ever rigs fights. He thinks that there is favorable matchmaking that is set up, and if ever that were the case, I think we saw it on Saturday on this Brazil card.
Yeah.
Now,
and I mean. And I would wager that, maybe a lot of the Brazilians, because that's obviously what they like to do. It's, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they love good submission ground grapples. So I think, I wouldn't, be surprised if a lot of them got together and said, hey, let's just go for submissions and let's go that way.
No, I hear you, man. All right, guys. Last topic before we just get to, I'm sure you all want to do. I'm sure the Jew wants to defend his title, ain't that right, Ross? Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Cool. Well, I don't even know what game we would play, but the last topic before we get to that crap, let's talk about the fight card on Saturday. The main event is going to be, and really, I don't know if we should even talk about any other fight here. The main event is going to be Rashad Evans versus Dan Hendo Henderson. I just got to know what you guys realistically think this fight is going to play out and look like, because in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Even though the Word on the Street podcast, I am the host here, it does not reflect the opinion that I'm about to give here. I think Evans versus Hendo is going to be a big piece of shit fight. I think it's going to be the combination of Hendo versus Machida and Evans versus whoever's last fight, whatever it was. I think it's going to be the most boring fight of all time. That is my official prediction, given their last fights. Rashad Evans, man, I don't know if he has the fire anymore. Dan Henderson, he probably has the fire. I don't know if he has the gun anymore. You know what I mean? Jake from the MMA podcast, Rashad Evans versus Dan Henderson. It's going down in a couple of days. Who do you got and why?
Man, I have Rashad by unanimous judges nod because he's just a little bit quicker, has better footwork. I feel that this is going to be a sparring match. These guys are both fighting for a paycheck. And I think when it comes down to a sparring match, I mean, if Rashad really put himself out there to get hit, I think Dan would win. And I'm going to be rooting for Dan. And I think in an MMA fight, Dan wins the fight. But I think that Rashad's not going to want to fight. He's going to keep his distance. He's going to make it a sparring match. It's going to be just as boring as Rashad versus Little Nog. And Rashad is going to take a snoozer of a unanimous decision because he doesn't want to engage.
Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey. Of course, you're on Team Sonnen, but of course you also know Dan Henderson personally. He was a part of Team Quest. He is, and you were. So it's kind of a tough question to ask, but hopefully you'll just give us your real opinion here. He's going to fight Rashad Evans. How do you think that fight goes?
I like Rashad a lot too. I think, I don't know, man. I'm going to give a political answer, what it's going to sound like, but Dan's got that right hand, and if it connects, man, it's bad news for anybody. I think Rashad has a little bit more in the tank. We'll see. Sometimes it's just who lands the first one first.
Do you think they'll actually, I hate to press you, but word on the street, do you think they'll actually put on a real fight, or do you think they're just going to kind of just show up for the fans, do the best they can in that regard, try not to get too hurt, see who comes out the better man?
I don't know, man. I'm just an optimistic guy, so I'm going to have to say that I hope that these guys engage, and I hope they mix it up and we see the better fighter win, not the tactical fighter get the decision.
Word on the street. Ross Finkelstein, Henderson versus Evans. Do you think it's going to be a war? What's your prediction?
It's not going to be an exciting fight, so no, it's not going to be a war. I don't think it's going to be a work either. I think Rashad's going to take it. Dan's very flat-footed. He comes out, he plants his 2 feet, and he throws hard punches, and he doesn't really wrestle. I think Rashad can take Dan down. I don't think Dan will be able to take Rashad down. I think as long as Rashad can be the quicker guy in the cage, go in, take him down, just utilize his movement and not get hit with a big right hand, because Rashad's chin is still suspect, he should take the fight.
Word. Alan, I was just checking out on Skype. People can't see this listening in, but Alan actually is sporting an icon, which I believe is the artwork of Ross Finkel. Is that true?
Yes, I am.
Son versus Shogun. Follow Ross Finkelstein on Twitter. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Alan, Rashad versus Hendo Henderson, dude. I know you've probably thought about this a lot. Give us your honest take, man. How's it going to go?
I'm going to make it short and sweet. If Rashad wrestles, Rashad wins. If Rashad stands, Rashad loses. I like Dan more, but, just looking at, both of their attributes and both of the skills and everything that they bring to the table, if Rashad goes to his wrestling game, he can win any fight in the UFC.
All right. Ninja Man, are you there, dude? What do you think about this fight, dude? Hendo versus Evans.
Oh, my bad. Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh, Hendo and Evans? Oh, I'm sorry. Talking about that put me to sleep.
Yeah, sorry to wake you, man. I'm sure we lost about half the listeners when I spoke the words Evans versus Henderson. But Ninja, humor us. What do you think's going to happen?
Rashad's obviously a counterpuncher, and I think he's gotten into that groove a little too much. I look at this just like Machida versus Evans. Evans is going to look to counterpunch. I look at it as they're all boring fights. As Henderson versus Machida, Henderson's going to come out looking to throw. Rashad's going to counterpunch, look to counter. Nobody's really going to do anything at all, and that's the end of the fight. I do want to say, though, I'm kind of looking forward to the Roy Nelson fight, because I think if he wins that, he might be in a title shot picture with Verdum, so I'm kind of curious to see how that goes, if he can win convincingly or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that they're putting Roy back in so soon. It seems like a setup to me, but that's all I'll say about it. Wu-Tang.
I'm actually looking forward to. Sorry to change the subject.
No, go for it.
John McGuire fights this weekend. So
yes,
that's
he does.
the one I'm looking for.
At 155 debut.
Yes, he does.
That's right.
He's fighting this guy who has slightly more of a beard, Mitch Clark. I definitely was gonna plug that. I was just gonna see if anybody else brought it up first. Thank you, Coach Jamie Huey. John McGuire was on the Word on the Street podcast recently. Totally cool dude. Because of that, I'm already biased. I mean, I love the guy to death. He can't say enough about him. He is the one. Coach, he's fighting Mitch Clark. What do you think's going to happen, man? You would know.
Well, I mean, the thing about John is, I don't want to put anybody's name out there, but there were several high level guys that don't necessarily come to our gyms often, but they're in the area and they've come up and gotten rounds, and I've watched John just pick guys apart at this elite level. I mean, thing is, John was fighting at 170 pounds. John at 155 is obviously more a natural weight class for him, but he is so technically, there's certain guys that show up at the fight that aren't in the gym, and there's certain guys that show up at the gym, and when I mean show up, like you really see their ability. They'll show up at the gym, not the fight, and they show up at the fight and not the gym. And John is one of those guys where, I mean, I watched him train and I was just like, this guy is amazing. His jiu-jitsu, or he calls it gypsy jiu-jitsu, was amazing to watch what he's capable of doing. His stand-up was very solid. I loved working the mitts with him. I had a great time spending time with John. If that John McGuire shows up, may God have mercy on the soul of anybody that's in front of him, because that guy is so technically sound. He's one of the most technical. Him and maybe Tor are the type of guys that just didn't seem like they had a whole lot of holes. So hopefully, John shows up and he fights his game plan at the fight. And if he does, I don't see anybody beating this guy at 155.
Yep, and you know what? I'll fucking back that up right now on the word on the street. Look, people, John McGuire was on this damn show. He took the time out of his fucking life to appear and talk to us for about an hour. So for that reason alone, I've got his back in this damn fight. He is fighting Mitch Clark. I'll tell you the truth, he is an underdog, but I believe in him. All right, he was the real. Anybody that's like that honest when you're talking to him, I gotta believe they're gonna be that real in the octagon. All right, now if I were to interview like a John Jones, he'd give me all these fake answers. And you're telling me he's 100% real in the octagon? No, part of him showboating. John McGuire, he is the real. And yes, people, UFC 161 this Saturday. Listen to me right now, because I don't often do this. The John McGuire fight is going to be on the Facebook prelims. All right, so I'm telling you, people, you have to open up a Facebook account or log back into the one you got. You have to do it, and I'm telling you, I'm going to do it because I hate Facebook. I hate it. I hate it more than anything. I log back in, it's just a mural of my ex-girlfriends and past tragedies and high school nonsense. I can't stand it. I log into Facebook and I see you see those in the top left, you see those little messages and friend me's, and you see it's blinking red. One of them says 1,013. I don't know what it says right now. There's too many. I don't even check my messages on Facebook. I don't add any friends. I'm trying to figure out how to remove friends. But I will log in this Saturday, June 15th, UFC 161, just to see John McGuire fight this Mitch Clark son of a bitch. And if we ever get Mitch Clark on the show, of course, he'll be the coolest guy ever too. But John McGuire was the real. He came on this show. He is going to whoop his ass, in my opinion. Bet on him, actually. I'll put down a little bet here. I'll put down some money on that guy. Why the fuck not? And as much as I've been smoking the weed, we didn't get a chance to let Wu-Tang weigh in on the main event before we sign off here or do the quick trivia thing. Wu-Tang, Hendo versus Evans. Who you got, man? How do you think that fight's going to really play out if you had to bet your life on it?
I think definitely Hendo, man. I think since Rashad has been with the Black Zillions, he's been fighting goofy as shit. He's been doing that pity patty fucking he just keeps throwing his hand out. I don't even he didn't shoot until the second round against Little Nas. So I think Hendo, man. I think Hendo's going to finish him.
What the hell is that? Did you just get tasered? I think he just got tasered.
Someone's shaving.
Sorry, guys. I'm starting up my truck.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I say Hendo, man. I say Hendo finishes him.
Is Coach Jamie Huey cruising the streets? What's happening?
Yeah. I left the gym and I pulled over to do the podcast. And
cool.
Now I'm moving again.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we won't blame you if you drop off for the trivia portion, man. But Coach, how can people reach you? Anything you want to plug? What's going on, dude? Twitter at CoachJamieHuey.com, website www.CoachJamieHuey.com, Facebook. You can email me, CoachJamieHuey@gmail.com. I've got a couple. I'm working on doing a boxing seminar up in Vancouver, British Columbia. No dates yet, but that's coming. Possibly another seminar over in Lynchburg, Virginia. So everybody on the East Coast, and I will be down at the UFC Fan Expo. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, we do some private classes, or just holler at me if you see me, man. Let's get a coffee or a beer, depending on what time it is. And that's really it, other than trying to get Liz on that next Invicta card. I got several other fighters that are always looking for fights, so matchmakers, promoters, anybody that's looking to fill a card, please get a hold of me on any of those platforms. And if I don't have somebody, then I'm probably aware of somebody in the area that is looking for a fight. So awesome. Thank you, Coach, very much. I'm pretty sure you won't want to sit through the massacre that's about to happen on this tribute game, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But yes, Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey, he is a Team Sonnen coach. He did coach on season 17 of The Ultimate Fighter. Look him up on Twitter at Coach Jamie Huey. Thank you very much. He is a co-host on this podcast every week. I
just want to give you guys a shout out too, Ramses. You're fucking killing it, man. I know that this podcast is getting out there because, you know, even guys like John Jones have asked me questions about things that we've both said. So I know that I know it's getting out there, man. You're doing a hell of a job, and Alan, you freaking killing it, brother. And we just really appreciate the support of everybody that listens, and all the guys. You know, we call it Team Darkside, but that's really the collective of all the listeners and the fans and everybody that continues to keep this thing moving and evolving. So with that, fellas, man, I'm out, and it's been a pleasure. This was definitely one of the most fun podcasts that I've had. Appreciate doing this every Tuesday, Ramses.
Hell yeah, Jamie. And just the last word before you hang up. I'll give it to you before you hang up. Sonnen versus Shogun. Who's gonna whoop whose ass?
Oh man, come on! That's not even a fair fight. You know, they ought to put Machida, Shogun, and about 7 other guys in there. Just
Little Nog.
Fair. Yeah, you know, here's what we'll do. We'll fight Little Nog in the dressing room before the fight. We'll fight Shogun at the fight, and then we'll beat Machida up in the parking lot. How's that sound?
Fuck yeah, man.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I'll be in Boston. I'll be getting there. I'll see you all week.
Man, appreciate it, man. And I look forward to seeing you again, man. Definitely.
Hell yeah. Problem. All right, Coach. We'll see you later, and tell Chael we said hello.
I will, and you know what? And we got a verbal. We were gonna get that guy on the podcast. He does listen. Who shot that video? Somebody shot a video of Chael in the.
That was me, Team Sonnen man,
yeah, okay.
Alan.
Yeah, he watches the show. I mean, he listens. We definitely know that. And you know, it's family, Claudia, and everybody. But I talked to Chael the other day, and he said he'll definitely come on the show. So we'll definitely try to get a schedule together when we can do that. It might even have to be pre-recorded before we play it, depending on the hour. Obviously, awesome. Chael does Fuel on Tuesdays. And then I've got a couple other guests lined up that I will definitely confirm today or probably tomorrow or the next day for next Tuesday. But we just keep it moving, bro.
Excellent. There you have it. Breaking news. Chael Sonnen is scheduled to appear on the podcast in a future episode. Coach, we'll let you go, but thank you very much. Good night, sir.
All right, brother.
And he is the best in the business. I wouldn't be anywhere without him, man. He gave me props, but honestly, Coach Jamie, he's helped me out significantly getting this podcast off the ground, getting guests booked. I don't know where I'd be without him. He is the damn best. He's right there in Chael's camp, you know, and he's good with the fans. And like, it's not even, he doesn't even consider them fans. It's like friends and family to him, and that's the way it should be, honestly. Now, sorry.
When they show up at your hotel room, and they're the ones that are famous, and they're coming to see you, you know that they're good people.
You know what, Alan? Why don't you explain that a little bit more? Like now that we can't embarrass the coach anymore, or Team Sonnen, the Team Sonnen coaches, or Chael. They're not on the line right now. Actually, yeah, you went to UFC 159, Sonnen versus Jones, and you had a chance to meet all of them. Could you just speak a little bit about how much of these people are like good human beings? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you can hear me. No, it's really awesome, you know, like connecting with them on Twitter. That's the only reason I ever even got on Twitter and was able to, you know, meet you guys was because of Chael, you know, and I got on, he'll respond to you. He'll talk to the coaches, and I went to Boston, you know, stayed at the same hotel and, you know, had no expectations, didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I just got there with, you know, some hopes of, you know, getting to see them, maybe take a picture of them. no idea what would actually happen. And when I get there, I get to meet them. Coach Clayton's wife had told him, what hotel room I was staying in, and him and Coach Scott, McCoy, they come and show up at our hotel room, knocking on my door. I'm thinking it's room service or something I didn't order, and it's the coaches, Chael Sonnen's coaches, the guys that I watch every week on TV that I look up to, and I DM Chael, and I don't want to be one of the stalkers that are in the hotel lobby, but I ask him, hey, what time are you leaving one morning? So I can come by, say hey, and he tells me the exact time and everything to come down there and meet him. I get to meet him. I shot the little video for the Word on the Street, had him on there.
Hell yeah.
It's just the ultimate experience. It made the week like perfect. Not only I'd have to say all the stuff that I paid for from the UFC, they delivered, but the things that I didn't pay for, that I was just able to, out of the goodness of their heart, experience, was awesome.
And I got to bring this up every time, Alan. I'm sorry, just because it's so ridiculous to me, and like it's shocking. You did, for UFC 159, Sonnen versus Jones, you did get the full package, if you will, as far as the UFC pricing and tickets goes. You had, I believe it's called the UFC Experience. You know where I'm going with this, man. You paid for a front row ticket, like VIP, like experience package.
Treatment.
And for the new listeners, how much did that set you back, dude?
Well, the package is $3,600, which is ridiculous.
What's included?
I'll have to post a link. The day of the weigh. I mean, they basically, you get a VIP. I don't know what you would call it, like a person that just like takes you around and basically shuttles you through everything, takes you backstage. Yeah, escort. And
not a hooker, people. Not a hooker.
No, not a hooker. Hot? No, she wasn't hot, but I did get to hook up, get to take pictures with Ariel and all them because we were sitting so close with Ariane Celeste and Brittany Palmer. So that
pictures
was
with them too, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, people are gonna want to know if they've never heard about this $3,600 UFC package. What kind of seats do you get?
It's either the first, second, or third row near one of the fighter walkouts. So, like, right in the corner where the ring girls sit. And it's also where the fighters walk out.
Hell yeah. And if you guys, for some reason, haven't paid attention to the UFC 159 walkout, which I understand, I've seen the fight about 3 times, which I'm sure you people, Sonnen fans, understand. But Alan, it was pictured. He actually did make it onto the pay-per-view. He was in one of the establishing shots right before the fight. Alan, I've actually you were on the damn pay-per-view. You were on the screen, dude. Is that a little weird watching the fight, knowing that you're part of the footage?
I think it's epic. It added to the whole week, the grandeur of everything. That right after Chael, they had him in the locker room doing his little, doing his elbows and punching, posing for the camera. And then all of a sudden it pans to me. And then right after that, it goes to Dana White doing the announcement for UFC 164 for the little Harley Davidson bike promo. So to me, it was silly, but it's something special. It capped off the whole week.
$3,600 for a ticket and an experience to a UFC event. Would you do it again?
I am doing it again in August.
Hell yeah.
There you go, Uncle Dana.
Fuck yeah, I've already started working the extra duty, bro.
Uncle Dana, don't ever say I didn't help you out there, all right? Look, that's the honest truth here from Alan. We are promoting the sport. That's the whole goal of the podcast. Even though I do talk about fixed fights, conspiracies, I might call a fighter a bum or two. I believe we did declare Bryan Caraway the fancy boy of the week.
Baby back bitch.
The baby back bitch of the week. That's going to be the new segment.
Wait,
baby back bitch.
I need to start playing the fancy boy music in honor of Bryan Caraway?
Let's do it, man. This one's going out to Bryan motherfucking Caraway. This week's, according to Marina Shafir, our baby back bitch.
Yeah, she mentioned this season of Tough was going to be full of drama. She said she wanted to shit Miesha Tate's cupcakes. She said Caraway was a baby back bitch. I loved it.
Like a little fancy boy. I mean, what is that?
Oh man, Bryan Caraway. Oh Jesus. Is there anybody that likes him? I'm gonna try to get him on the show. Actually, I'll ask him if he wants to come on, and if he
we can trick him just like we did Cody McKenzie.
Go for it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, people, we do have a new caller on the line. He is a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast. He gave Ross Archampa a run for his money. He is none other than Chris. Chris, how you doing, man? I'll just get to it real quick. Are you calling in to talk about the Marina Shafir interview, the Hendo versus Evans fight coming up, getting kicked in the junk? What else did we talk about? Bryan Caraway. What's going on, Chris? What's on your mind?
Hey guys, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, man. And nothing specific, just wanted to call in and chat with y'all. And I actually missed the Marina Shafir interview, but from what I've heard from you guys just now, she sounds kind of feisty and a girl after my own heart.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey was chirping in the background. It was good stuff.
It was actually pretty. Yeah, it was pretty crazy actually. The cupcake thing. I can't get over that one.
Dookie cupcakes, huh?
Hey, Ross needs to make a poster of her shitting in her cupcakes.
Yep. Sorry. Wait. What's up, Ross?
Ross didn't agree to this.
Okay, Ross is speaking up.
Ross doesn't want to have to Google people shitting in cupcakes and
I think Ross has
work with
Googled
those
that
images.
many times.
I'll do it for you, Ross. I ain't scared.
All right, thanks.
The whole thing running through my mind, it came across my mind while they were talking about it. It was Ronda and Marina obviously together on the call, and then talking about the Miesha and the cupcake. They should come out with a website, dude. 2 girls, 1 cupcake. I'd pay money to see that.
It's pretty clever, yo.
No, that's pretty a hack joke, actually. But all right, guys.
Speaking of hack jokes, Ross, $1 billion idea, Jiu-Jitsu. Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, it's just
Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu.
One of Marina's nicknames was, she was talking about it, Judoka is what one of her training coaches actually calls her. Interesting, but that wouldn't fly in the UFC, as I said. Okay, guys, let's get it over with. We got to wrap the podcast up. This trivia shit. I know you guys all want to just do your man shit here, face each other down once more. I don't know if anybody even has. Jake, I'm sure you didn't even prepare for this.
Yo, I am ready to host it if need be.
Holy shit! All right. Well then, people.
Man of the people.
Yep. And just a note to all the new listeners out there: follow us on Twitter, and then you'll know the next time this show goes down. The Ant Jimmy Show is mine. The Ant Jimmy Show on Twitter is mine, and then you can follow at the MMA Podcast. Just follow those. You'll know what each of us is doing. We're kind of co-hosting each other's podcasts. It's bleeding into one or the other. The MMA Podcast is like the, the actual legitimate show. And then mine is just the underground, Wayne's World of MMA, as I said. But yeah, just follow us on Twitter, the Ant Jimmy Show and the MMA Podcast. You'll hear future episodes. We're going to have a ton of guests that you wouldn't even expect. I don't even know how we get these guests half the time, all right, people? But they're coming. Anyway, we do this trivia thing where these crazy people, they call in, they battle each other on UFC trivia. It's actually kind of interesting. Hopefully they won't fight again. Last time, Ross defended his title even though they switched the entire game on him, and he agreed to it was like a new set of rules. He agreed and he still whooped ass, but they still fought afterwards and accused him of cheating. But we'll find out if he can defend his title right now, people.
I have a suggestion. I think anybody that fights after the bell should be suspended.
That's true. They did try to fight him after the bell. They tried to engage this man after we went off the air due to, it was getting pretty heated. There's a difference between like radio arguing and playing around, and then people were starting to get offended. So I took us off the air. I do have it recorded. I will post it. Sorry guys. I think enough time has passed and we've all cooled off. Trust me, it was funny as shit. So I will post that. But hopefully this time we have to remain a little civil, people. All right, we're all just here smoking or drinking or being crazy sober. So let's do this shit. Jake, It's the trivia game, and just he'll explain it better than I can, but the gist of it is Jake is going to start naming facts about a UFC or MMA fighter, one at a time, and then the first person to buzz in and guess who it is wins that round. That's a legit bong hit.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake. That's my man from the MMA podcast, tearing it up.
I am impressed by your performance.
Yeah. Now, people, let's do this shit. Word on the Street podcast trivia game. It's going down. Jake, take it away.
All right, yeah, it's very simple. I'm just going to start naming facts about a fighter, and the first one to guess the fighter correctly wins a point. First 1 to 3 points wins the minigame. We've done this once before. Ross was the champion. Once again, sorry about my horrible voice. But yeah, let us do this shit. My first fighter, if you have any questions. Oh yeah, hey, another big thing. When you think you know the fighter I'm talking about, don't say the fighter's name. Buzz in with your own name, just in case multiple people say the same thing at the same time, so we know who is who. Say your own name, and then I'll acknowledge you, and then you come in with your guess. You can't guess twice on the same fighter. So once you guess, you're out for that round. And I'll start with our first fighter. He's 28 years old, from Arizona. He's fought in both the WEC and the UFC. He was a former WEC champion.
Ross.
Wu-Tang.
Ross.
Jamie Varner.
Jamie Varner, that's correct. Jamie Varner is the Arizona former WEC champion I'm talking about. Ross back out to another early lead.
1 point for Ross.
All right, your second fighter. Born in Indiana, 32 years old. Fighting out of Phuket, Thailand. He is a UFC fighter. His last fight was a loss. But before that, he had won over 10 fights in a row. He's fought 5 times in the UFC. He's 4-1. He is currently a welterweight. His last 2 fights were June and July of 2012. He's not fought since July 2012. Like I said, Ninja.
Kung Lee?
Nope, that is incorrect. I'm sorry. Ross.
Brian Ebersol.
Brian Ebersol is the correct answer.
Nice.
A roaring 2-0 lead. Jesus Christ, Ross out to an impressive start. I need to make these shits harder.
How many rounds are we going?
We're going until someone has 3 points, and Ross,
Okay.
Everyone has 0. Ross has 2, so Ross is definitely in the driver's seat. All right, this fighter. He has 1 UFC fight under his belt, which was a win. He's 30 years old. He is a former D1 football player. He went, what did he go? He went 5-1 in Strike Force. Nope, 6-1, sorry. 6-1 in Strike Force. Former D1 football player. Played for an SEC school.
How old is he?
He's 30 years old. Born in Miami, Florida. He's 6'3". He's a light heavyweight. Fighting out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
6'3" light heavyweight. That should narrow it down.
Ross?
I'm going to guess Owen St. Preux.
3-0. He swept it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn.
Owen St. Preux was the correct answer. He played D1 football for the University of Tennessee. Went 6-1 in Strike Force. Has 1 UFC fight under his belt. 30 years old. Ross, you owned it tonight. And
Once you said Miami, Miami, Florida, I almost gave up. I was about to say The Rock.
Well,
I don't.
You have a victory speech for us tonight?
Where can people find you on Twitter? What's happening?
Twitter.com/Ross Finkelstein. I don't even know what to say anymore.
He is the best Jew in the MMA business. I've been telling you people. People have been accusing me of even protecting him as my champion on the Word on the Street podcast.
I think everybody else on this podcast was muted or something. That's I just want to say that because
yo Ramses, you've got to host next week or this Thursday, whenever we do it next, because I want to be back in the mix. I'm hungry.
No problem. All right, we have another challenger. Yeah, all right, no problem, man. But I do have to say, Ross, congratulations. You are the defending champion. You're keeping this going here. I do not rig these trivia matches, I have to say. I don't. Come at me. Anybody's welcome to join in.
Yeah, literally, when you were like, Jake, are you ready? I was like, well, I just need to pull up random people's Wikipedia and just name shit off it. I don't need to really prep whatsoever. I just pick around. I was like, Jamie Varner. I actually was going to go with Gegard at first, but I was like, I want a fighter a little more difficult, and I looked at his record. I was like, OSP, that's a pretty difficult one. And I clicked it. Like, literally all of those I was doing off the cuff.
Nice. I will host the next time so you can participate. And anybody that wants to join in on the Word on the Street podcast, you are always welcome. We don't screen the calls. We just talk real talk. It is the latest MMA, UFC rumors, news, predictions. We try to have the best guests we can. The people that are actually gonna talk for real. We had that tonight. Our guest was MMA fighter Marina Shafir, assistant coach on The Ultimate Fighter Season 17 on Team Rousey. She was a great guest. Can't wait to have her back on. Everybody, thanks for calling in. Jake, if you could wrap this up and take us off the air here and just let us know when you're done. It is the Word on the Street podcast. Everybody hang on the call because we do have some shit to discuss as far as next week goes and, smoking weed on Skype and whatnot. Also, shout out to the FBI, CIA, the NSA, Homeland Security, and the President himself, Mr. Barack Obama, for joining us tonight, listening in. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. We will see you next time on the Word on the Street podcast.